Now, the voice referendum is only 4 days away. Let me just briefly say, anybody trying to make political points about the voice, segueing from what's happening in Israel, is taking a big leap. I think the voice, as you know, is about unifying this country, not dividing it. And everybody's entitled to vote one way or the other, but all sides want unity in this country. And of course, the referendum's only 4 days away. And that's going to bring relief to many people, whether you're voting for, yes or no. A lot of people are sick of the campaign. But despite the polls showing the referendum will fail, the campaigning is still busy. In Adelaide tonight, there's an event for all comers, promising singing and chatting with the filmmaker and Yes campaign leader, Rachel Perkins, also country music star Troy Cassadaly, and the nation's greatest singer-songwriter, Paul Kelly. I caught up with Rachel and Paul earlier and started by asking whether Rachel might actually get roped in for a bit of the singing.
Depends on how many wines I usually have, Chris. So if it's a 2-wine night, there's a likelihood that I will try and at least get in one song maybe. But no, look, it's quite loose, isn't it, the plan?
Yeah, we're old friends, and also with Troy Cassadaly, and we have sat a lot around campfires and kitchen tables singing songs, so we wanted to recreate that kind of feeling for this event. We made the point to promote it to everyone who comes. It's not a yes rally. We wanted to be able to discuss, talk to people who come. Rachel's going to have a roving mic, and she gets around and talks to people, and they ask questions, and we try to answer. We also sing. Rachel's a good singer. She's sung in bands before. And she's also a pretty mean shaker player, so
yeah,
it'll unfold organically, I'd say.
Yeah, which is sort of nice. It's meant to be a space. You know, there's a lot of serious discussion that's been going on. Obviously, it's a very important issue, but this is just a way to do it differently, where people might feel more comfortable with, you know, singing songs and having yarns and asking questions. We've got a constitutional lawyer. She'll be somewhere in the crowd, so she'll be able to answer the hard questions. And a couple of local artists are going to be with us. So, yeah, it should be fun.
Great to have that sort of discussion, and, yeah, a bit of expert advice there on hand in case you need it. It makes me think, I wonder if we just haven't had a good enough discussion around this country about this proposal. When you see the polls trending no, and you see the bitterness of the partisan divide on this issue over the past few months, you think what we sorely needed was just a decent discussion around the campfire or around the kitchen table, Rachel.
Well, we have had a lot of discussions, Chris. You know, there was the report that was handed down under the previous government that's Marcy Langton, Tom Calmer wrote, that was commissioned by Scott Morrison, and Ken Wyatt presented it to Cabinet twice. So there was ample opportunity to discuss a possible model for the voice then. Unfortunately, that wasn't taken up. And, you know, now we've had the proposal of the constitutional amendment since, I think, last year at Garma, if I'm not correct. So that's more than a year ago. So look, there's been quite a bit of time to discuss it, and I don't know whether you've seen the ad that the musician Briggs put out, but there's that ad that suggests people Google it, because the amendment is there for people to look at and understand. But yeah, I think the problem is there's also been a lot of misinformation. So people, unfortunately, are getting confused by a number of issues, which, you know, you're across what some of the confusions are around.
Yeah, I think it's a great pity that something that's supposed to be so unifying has been actually so divisive. And Paul, you've sung about this. You've sung about if not when, and when you look at the polling, I wonder if you get pessimistic or whether you're hopeful. I think of your Bradman song and using that line about how people say often the darkest hour is just before the dawn. Do you hold out some hope that Australians on Saturday might actually vote yes in droves?
Of course I do. It isn't over till it's over, and you know, people can change their minds, or they might not have even thought about it yet. So there's still hope for that. But I do want to pick up on this word divisive. We're having a vote on Saturday. A vote by its very nature is divisive. When they count the votes, they will divide them into yes and to no. since when did division become a dirty word? I mean, totalitarian countries are not divisive. We're a democracy. We have debate, discussion. Somehow, the No campaign is saying, oh, yeah, this is divisive. This referendum is divisive. This is bad. And when they say, so therefore, this referendum is bad, so pushing everyone towards, no, oh, no, we better vote no because it's bad. That's just a really, really weak argument.
Yeah, because that is the nature of democracy, isn't it? You have discussion in Parliament across the chambers. You have discussion in the Australian public to change the referendum. It's part of what makes our democracy robust, that we can discuss things and decide which way, the country goes.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, well made, but I do also think that the No side have said that the Voice would be racially divisive, and I think that's clearly wrong. The whole intent of the Voice is to unite the country, to reconcile the country. So I think that that injection of the idea of racial division has been quite damaging, and that's of course what the Yes campaign has to overcome, have to convince people that this is unifying. Paul, let me reflect on your input into this, because you've not just talked the talk on reconciliation in this country. For decades you've walked the walk and worked with Indigenous artists and supported them and their causes. How do you see this in the history of Australia? Because either way, on Saturday, we're going to make some history. What sort of history do you think we can make?
I think it's very important. We can make a big history. I mean, it is a simple proposition, but it's also, it's not. It's also very important. I think that the No side, right, they raise the idea of it's not fair, or this, one group getting somehow special preference over another group is not fair, and I think that's worth addressing, because Australians are really strong about the idea of a fair go.
Yes.
But to answer that, I would say, in 1788, when the first fleet came, and for the century after that, Aboriginal people didn't get a fair go. At Federation, they didn't get a fair go. They were shut out. They still haven't got a fair go. It's obvious they're still not getting a fair go when there's so much disparity between Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australians in health, education and life opportunities. This referendum is about giving Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people a fair go. It's not giving them any privileges. It's about saying we're prepared to listen to you so we can make better policy.
Paul, I think you might be able to pick up your guitar for us and sing us out of this segment. And while you do that, perhaps, Rachel, I'll just get a final word from you on your hopes for Saturday, whether those polls are just too depressing at the moment or what your message is to voters.
Well, it's hard to sum up in 10 seconds, but I think my message to voters is that this can be a uniting change for our country. It can bring our deep history together and make it a modern nation. It should be unifying. It's not giving anyone any further rights. It's not giving Indigenous people an extra vote. It's just giving us the right, my community back home in Alice Springs, the right to be heard through the establishment of an advisory committee that will be there into the future. And it can change. If it's not working, the government can reassemble the committee. It's not stuck. It can be reassembled and fit for purpose, but the advisory committee will be there to be able to give advice on laws and policies that affect my people back home and right across Australia at the grassroots. This is not about a Canberra voice. It's about having elected representatives from the community who might go to Canberra to give their advice, but they're from the grassroots. That's what it's about. And I'm here, sitting beside Paul Kelly, who's been a bloody great friend to us in this, to get the message out that this is nothing to be afraid of. It can be a great thing for our country.
Well, thanks both of you for joining us. I hope you have a great night tonight. I wish I could be there for a yak around the fire as well. Perhaps no singing from me. Paul would be honoured if you could sing us out.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks. Good on you. It's a splinter in the mind, a whisper in the heart, a feeling something's missing, some crucial little part. It's business that's unfinished, a reckoning that's due. If not now, then when? If not us, then who? It's a simple proposition, to join the new and old, a chance to make our country larger in its soul. It's an invitation offered to set our course anew. If not now, then when? If not us, then who?